Hi and welcome back to our channel. Are you getting ready for the trip to northern Germany? In this video, I would like to show you what to visit and what to eat on the trip to the biggest and the most beautiful island in Germany, Rügen. For more content about food and travel, please subscribe to our channel and hit this notification bell to be notified each time when I post a video, which is every Sunday morning. If you don't know me yet, my name is Marta from Cooking the World and I am food guide and blogger based in Frankfurt. And remember that I am here for you if you have any questions when traveling to Germany. If you would like to visit Rügen and you come to Germany by plane, it's better for you to go to the airport Rostock-Laage. From there, the easiest, quickest and probably the cheapest way to get to Insel Rügen is by car. I did find a train connection though, but it's much more complicated because before you need to take a taxi to the nearest city. Ruegen Island is the biggest island in Germany and therefore you would need a car anyway to get around. Don't get me wrong, the island Rügen has also buses and trains, for example the steam locomotive, which is really cool, and you can also visit some parts of the island with Rasende Roland, because this is the name of this locomotive. It goes maximum 30 kilometers an hour, which is pretty slow, but it is an unforgettable experience. And this is Rasende Roland route map for you. When it's about accommodation at the island Rügen, I would recommend you renting an apartment, especially when you are more than 2 people visiting. The apartments are very pretty and much cheaper than the hotels. Our apartment had a wonderful sea view, even when it was a bit farther away from the beach. It also had a fireplace and sauna, and it did exceed our expectations. Before you go to Insel Rügen, I would like to encourage you to visit a city called Stralsund, which has great restaurants and beautiful old town with over 500 houses that are under heritage protection. If you are looking for something quick to eat, there are plenty of quick service restaurants, especially near the port. I have spotted there Fischkutter Anja, which offered over 15 different bread rolls with the different fishes. It did offer also smoked fish. If we weren't there with Matthias' grandma, I would definitely get Miss Bismarkhering, which is a pickled herring and is a specialty of Stralsund. The pickled herring is marinated in white vinegar, oil, onion, mustard seed and bay leaf, and it is the best way of eating herring according to Bismarck. With the grandma, we went to Braugasthaus Zum alten Fritz that was founded in 1827, and the Brauhaus produces beer under the brands Störtebeker and Stralsunder. The German-style dark wheat ale has won a gold award at the World Beer Cup in 2014, but I did find on the menu something very special, which was Sanddorn Weizen beer, which is a wheat beer mixed with sea buckthorn juice that was extremely delicious. For the main, we went all 3 of us for the same thing, which is a European place that was fried and served with crabs and smoked bacon on the top, as well as grilled pumpkin in the bottom, and it did have this beautiful sauce and potatoes. It was seriously the highlight of the trip. The fish was very moist and just beautifully fried. I never thought that bacon would go just so well with it. The next place that we found extremely beautiful was the fish village Fit. From there you can hike to Kap Arcona, which is 45-meter high cape on the island Rügen that is often referred as the northernmost point of the island. You can find there 2 lighthouses, and this is actually the view from the first one. You can find there several buildings, a restaurant, military bunkers. It was certainly a beautiful hike and a great area to visit. As soon as we got back, we found a restaurant that is called Goldener Anker. And because it was freezing inside, I ordered grog with obviously sea buckthorn. The restaurant was pretty busy and it's actually a very touristy place. But this time it really didn't matter. So my grog was delicious. If you don't know what a grog is, it's actually a warm water with rum and sugar. And this one had additionally sea buckthorn. Finally, I found on the menu fried herring with fried potatoes and some salad. I need to tell you that the fish was very moist and tender. It had a lot of fish bones, so it kept me very busy, and my plate was actually a mess, but I enjoyed it a lot. Matthias, on the other hand, went for plaice. Surprise, surprise. His fish was served with smoked bacon, salad and fried potatoes. The fish was actually as good as mine, but much easier to eat. European place always wins. The owners of this restaurant has another restaurant, and unfortunately it wasn't on our way, but if it were, I would definitely go there and try other specialities. The next beautiful place to visit is in Sellin, and it's the Sellin Pier, which is the longest pier on the island. Before there was actually a restaurant, now you can get there coffee and some cake. Farther away, you can also find diving gondola, which might be a fun place to visit if you are with kids, for example. You can take a walk there on the pier and see the photos from the early times. And here you can see the restaurant. That it was there. Actually, the grandma of Matthias can still remember the times when the restaurant was there. We certainly spent very beautiful morning in this place. Later, after all those fishes, we have decided to visit a restaurant which was called Jägerhütte, and that one was in Putbus. That it was founded in 1975, and it concentrated on selling wild meat. It was a very cozy place to visit. It had a fireplace in the middle of the restaurant, which gave the restaurant this typical atmosphere. But let's just dive into the menu. So, for the starter, they had pierogi, which are Polish dumplings, but we definitely wanted to try them. Other than this, they had plenty wild meat choices. And as soon as we got the menu, we were very excited. To drink, I have ordered crazy mix of Coke and cherry juice. Creativity has no boundaries in this country. And for starter, we got pierogi filled with very finely minced meat, wild minced meat with mushroom sauce. The pierogi were just outstanding. Matthias said, and I can confirm it, that there were definitely the best pierogi with wild meat that we have ever had. Even the pierogi that we had in Poland, filled with a duck meat, couldn't really beat those ones. In this restaurant, as a main course, Matthias took the deer roast that was served with red wine, apple red cabbage and roasted dumplings, and also lingonberry sauce on the side. The meat was definitely a highlight in this dish because it was very tender. And I went for the pheasant breast that was also served with a red wine sauce, Brussels sprouts and potato gratin. The meat was actually huge, and although I ate it all, I haven't had dinner that day. Pheasant breast had a very similar taste to chicken, or at least this one I had. I was actually expecting the taste to be a little more different, like taste of duck or a taste of deer. Overall, we were very happy, and I would definitely recommend this restaurant to anyone who's tired of fish when on holiday in Rügen. Going back to hiking, the most beautiful place on the whole island was the hike in the National Park Jesmund. That was the trail along the chalk coast to the chalk cliff. It's called Königsstuhl. For this trail, we parked the car in Sassnitz city center, and then we went to the port, and from there we took the trail. It was around a 10-kilometer walk. You need to plan at least 2 hours for this. And from Königsstuhl, you can get bus to Sassnitz. And I would definitely recommend wearing hiking shoes. The trail is very varied, and I can definitely understand why people say that this is one of the most beautiful trails in Germany, which is really cool, but also, as you can see, pretty dangerous. When you walk along the coast, you can find a chalk and some flints. Overall, the cliffs are just beautiful, especially when the sun was shining. When you walk a bit farther away, you've got a wonderful view to the Königsstuhl. But as soon as you get there, they would ask you to pay the entrance, and it was pretty expensive, so we decided not to do it. When we got back to Sassnitz, to the port, we went to the Kutterfisch shop and restaurant, where we got smoked eel and mackerel for dinner. They had really plenty of smoked fish to choose from, and they also served warm dishes. But for some reason, the grandma wanted to go and eat somewhere else, so we followed her wish. The restaurant that we went to was just at the seaside. There was only one dish that is actually worth mentioning, and it was a cooked eel with white herb sauce, boiled potatoes, horseradish and cucumber salad. When you are on the German seaside, I would definitely recommend you eating cooked eel. I know it doesn't sound promising, but it's really good. In this restaurant, I have tried a Seebergtorn juice. Taste of it was very strong, and I think it was too strong for me, so I didn't like it too much. When you are in Sassnitz and you don't want to take the trail to see the coastline, you can also see the chalk cliffs when you take the trip by boat. In Sassnitz, you can also go to the U-boat museum, which was actually very interesting. And yes, the grandma also came with us to the U-boat. For me, it was very interesting to see how they live in such a U-boat, and especially how they cook. I enjoyed this museum a lot. The next stop that I would like to mention is Rügen-Markt in Tisol. Especially for you street food lovers, they had amazing mustard that we obviously had to try. I certainly loved the garlic one the most. They have also sold the Kattenschinken, which we bought, and that was so good. If I knew that that would be so good, I would definitely take more of it. And the first thing that we have decided to go for was Bison Gulasch. Always there for the wild meat. Originally, Bison Gulasch was served with a bread roll, but we decided to get noodles with it. It did cost €2 extra. The Bison Gulasch was very nice, but nothing extraordinary, I would say. I am not sure if I would order it again. After this, we have decided to try a bread roll with fish, and we've seen this vendor that sold plenty of different fishes in a bread roll, and we decided to go for the bread roll with eskeler. It's like a mackerel that has a buttery taste. I think we call it that way because it's got even more fat than the normal mackerel does. So we would say that comparing this to the Bison Gulasch, that would be pretty basic, but it was actually a highlight. I think that the great idea was that the bread roll was still warm, and then this smoked buttery mackerel in it and lettuce went so well together that I can say that now that was definitely the best fish bread roll I have ever had. Afterwards, we've seen a vendor who was selling fresh bread that was baked in the wood fire oven, and he served it with lard, fried onions and pickles. I need to say that it was definitely a highlight on our trip to Rügen-Markt. And at the end we have decided to get something sweet. Those were kvarkbällchen, which are sweet curd balls that are deep fried. The dough is very fluffy. Those are covered with a powdered sugar on the top. And the last place that we are going to show you, it's a city where we stayed, and it's called Binz. I think Binz is the nicest city to stay in Rügen. They have a lot of hotels and apartments, as well as restaurants and places where you can get bread rolls. And also its architecture is very beautiful and interesting. The first thing that I have spotted in one of the bakeries, what we don't have in Frankfurt, was the Franzbrötchen, which is a specialty from Hamburg, and it's made from the Danish pastry, traditionally filled with sugar and cinnamon. And it's definitely better than a French croissant because it's covered with a caramelized layer of sugar. Another specialty that we don't get to see as much is Zuckerkuchen or Butterkuchen. Sugar and butter cake has this characteristic holes that actually happens after baking because the flakes of butter are distributed on the dough. The cake is sprinkled with sugar and sometimes, as you can see, also with almonds. And you might think that this cake looks pretty dry. Trust me, it's definitely not dry. The cake is very moist and fluffy, and I actually fell in love with it. While being in Binz, we also went for the Sandskulpturen Festival, which is a sand sculpture exhibition that happens every year. Some of the sculptures were really cool. I think that they have really done it so well, especially the forest gump. At the end of the exhibition, you could see the biggest sand castle in the world. The last thing that I would like to show you is the restaurant called Strandhalle. And it is a very cool place to go for a dinner. The quality of the food was extraordinary, I would definitely say. For drink, I went for another sea buckthorn specialty, which was a sparkling wine served with a sea buckthorn. I'm sorry about the quality of the video because inside was actually very dark, but I still really wanted to show you that place because I think it was definitely the best restaurant that we have visited in Binz. Matthias went for warm smoked salmon, horseradish mashed potatoes with apple cream and herb pesto, as well as lingonberry and croutons. I went for Lapskaus, which is a culinary specialty from northern Germany. The dish became very popular among sailors and seamen. Traditionally, it is served a bit differently, but on the plate here I had a medium rare veal, herring and onion tartare, mashed potatoes with beetroots, egg and pickles. What a treat! For the dessert, we got a Binzer Sturmsack, which is a specialty from Binz, which is a cream puff that is served with a red berry sauce. Seriously, as we haven't had enough goodies this evening. Eating it was really so messy, but it was very delicious. And the last place that is worth visiting in Binz, it's called Prora, which is a building complex built by Nazis in late 1930. It's meant to be a beach resort of the Strength Through Joy, Kraft durch Freude project. It consisted of 8 identical buildings and was 4.5 kilometers long, from which 3 kilometers survived. In the end, the construction was not completed. They are renovating the building now, and there is already a hostel and a hotel with luxury apartments for the short-term rental. So now you know what to do and eat on the island Rügen in Germany. To make the things even easier for you, I did prepare a Rügen checklist. If you wanna grab it from the description box down below. The checklist contains all the sightseeing, the food and the restaurants that we visited and loved. For more content, please follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Check out these videos next to see what traditional foods and drinks you can try on your trip to Germany. If you like this video, hit that like button and make sure you subscribe to this channel, and feel free to share this video with somebody who might need this advice. I wish you all, as always, safe travels and happy eats. Bye!